Welcome to today's video on pelvic and hip movements. We will be doing a series of pelvic and hip release exercises that will give you more mobility in that area. Let's start with some small movements here. Put your hands at the top of your pelvis from the back and slowly nudge your pelvis forward, moving back and forth. As you bring your pelvis forward, you're going into a deep hip extension. And as you lean back, you're going into a deep hip flexion. Now, start to circle your pelvis. Make sure you do this slowly, going through a full circular motion to get rid of the tightness hidden in the nooks and crannies, especially on the side of our pelvis and hips. Keep the legs really straight. This way, we'll be able to flex and extend the hips more, thereby bringing the pelvis back and forth more as we circle. Now bring your legs to wider than hip width apart. Gently glide one hand down along the leg that is externally rotated here. We're preparing to shift the pelvis laterally to one side. Looking up, lengthening the torso, opening the chest, and deeply shifting the weight of your pelvis to one side. Come to a gentle but wide squat here. Shifting your weight from side to side will let us get deeper into our hip socket, as well as the tightness at the back of our pelvis. Alternating between pulsing, squatting, and slowly putting your hands down to standing up straight. If you can't touch the floor, it's okay. You just let your spine hang, but try to straighten the leg nevertheless. We'll move on to more mobility moves now. Start to scoop your arms up and breathe, expanding your chest and bringing your pelvis forward as you do that. The pelvis and the spine move as one. And sweep your arms back forward to go the other direction. Again, as you can see, the pelvis moves between flexing and extending. Moving in synchronicity with the spine. Cross one leg over the other. Try not to rotate your pelvis too much, although it will rotate a little bit. Try to reach the floor if you can. If not, try to reach as low as possible. We're lengthening the side of our pelvis and hips, the part that we most often overlook. Lengthening the side body will give us a lot more mobility and length to do other movements smoothly. The more we do, the more we should be able to reach and touch the floor, or try to aim for it, because this way we'll know we are actively stretching the sides a little bit more each time. And now from here, gently bend your knees and shift your hips from side to side. Make sure the knee doesn't go too far in front of the toes. If it is, try to go on a bigger stance. Stretch out your arm to one side so that we go deeper into the hip crease of the same side. Then glide your hand down onto one leg here as you reach the other up diagonally, creating a diagonal line. It has the same purpose to let us go deeper into the hip joints. At the same time, stretching the side of our pelvis and our torso. And try to go a little bit deeper, slower, and reaching a little bit more here. We are also relying a lot on our adductor strength to help us, to hold us at the center. Lunge deeply into the front leg here and transition to moving back before we move forward again and go deeper. Fold into the hip crease in front. As you fold into the hip creases in front, you're also gently pulsing your pelvis forward. Small rotation in the hip socket. We are moving the legs out in a circular motion to release the femur head. As we go in bigger stance, we are still moving in smaller circular motion, but this bigger stance will help us to move the pelvis along. Now, think about the symbol infinity. Start to move your pelvis in an infinity motion here. Allow your knees and your ankles to be soft as you do this. pelvis and the spine move as one. Let's come into a traditional curtsy move here. Cross one leg in front and deeply bend the other behind. Like all the previous movements, we are going deep into the hip creases, folding at the hip joints. And see if you can gradually step out a little bit bigger and curtsy a little bit deeper. And of course, gradually make the movement more rhythmic, lighter, softer, more fluid. Bring one leg to the front, flex your foot, bend, and pedal again to the front, bring it to the back. We are bringing the hip joints into a fuller movement range now. And try to keep your leg as straight as possible as you pedal backwards. The flexing also helps to lengthen the hamstrings. Another detail, bringing your spine to move along as you pedal. As you reach the legs out and to the back, you arch your spine a little bit. As you bend, you curl. That will help to facilitate the movement, allowing the pelvis, the hips, the hamstrings, and the spine be involved all at once. Reach out one leg here, keep flex. And now, kind of pulse it up and down. In different angles here, moving from the hip joints of course, but our glutes are also involved at this point, as well as our hamstrings. You can do this for as many repetitions as you like, or stopping at whichever angle you feel you need to work on more, based on the sensation you're feeling. Now moving your pelvis to face frontal. Rotate your upper leg here from parallel to external rotation, and in external rotation bringing it up and down. Make sure your torso remains still. That is your anchor point. As your hip releases the leg to move freely. Then point your toes and slowly glide it in towards your knee. Straighten out diagonally, flex to come down, moving from your inner thighs. Keep the pelvis square and facing forward. Especially the top part of the pelvis, make sure it does not roll back. And keeping the head in line with the spine at all times. Think about drawing a rainbow with your big toe as you move in this exercise here, bringing your leg tapping to the back and the front. Here we'll be moving our hip joints with the help of the inner thigh, the glutes, as well as the hamstrings. Make smaller circles here, need not go so big, because if we do, we'll be compromising the stability of our torso. Repeat all the same movements we did just now on this side. Remember, this is a big toe tap and not the whole foot tap. Just a big toe dipping on the floor. Coming up in the next video, we'll be doing a full body flow of inner strength and mobility, a variety of movements to build inner strength and of course mobility in various areas of the body. Do like and subscribe, and I'd love to see you again in the next video. So keep moving, keep getting better, and have a lovely day. And if you like more videos like that, do check out other mobility videos I have done on full body, spine, hip and shoulders. I'll put a link in the description box below as well so that you can access it easily.